Tidbits from TNT, Wednesday morning, August 21, 2024. Listen to the full version on the official dinarreport.com website and become our supporter on Patreon. Tishwash. Al-Nujaba. The truce is over and the option of striking American bases in Iraq is now available. The Al-Nujaba movement, one of the Iraqi factions involved in the so-called Islamic resistance in Iraq, considered on Tuesday that the truce that was aimed at giving the government time to negotiate the withdrawal of U.S. forces from the country has ended, and the options of targeting military bases have become available. The resistance factions in Iraq have ended this truce, and therefore all options are available to the resistance forces to target all American bases inside Iraq. Haider al-Lami, a member of the political council of the Al-Nujaba movement, told The National. Al-Lami considered that there was procrastination and delay by America regarding the withdrawal of its forces during the talks with the Iraqi government. There will be a response in the coming days that may target more than one place, not necessarily in Iraq. Syria and Israel, added al-Lami, who warned after the Babylon strike that such a move was under consideration. He said that some forces will remain in the Kurdistan region until September 2026 to supervise counter-terrorism operations in Syria. The situation there is different from Iraq, as ISIS is stronger in Syria and has strongholds. Reuters. BP's deal with Iraq will be based on profit-sharing model. An agreement with BP to develop oil and gas fields in Kirkuk will be based on a profit-sharing model. And a final deal is expected by the end of this year, two oil ministry officials told Reuters. Iraq and BP signed a preliminary agreement this month to develop 4 oil and gas fields in the Kirkuk region of northern Iraq, an area where BP estimates about 9 billion barrels of oil could be extracted. The two officials said the ministry and BP, which is returning to the region after an absence of about 5 years, are expected to sign an agreement, the terms of which will not be disclosed, this week, under which Iraq will hand over a data package for the 4 Kirkuk fields and their facilities. The two officials spoke on condition of anonymity because they were not authorized to speak to the press. BP has not yet responded to a request for comment. BP withdrew from the area in late 2019 after a service contract signed in 2013 expired without reaching an agreement to expand the field. Tishwash. An economist places extortion, bribery and smuggling as the first causes of the fluctuation of the dollar exchange rate. Today, Tuesday, economic affairs researcher Dia Al-Mohsen listed the extortion, bribery, and smuggling operations carried out by dollar dealers who cannot disclose the sources of their money as the first reasons for the fluctuation of the dollar exchange rate in local markets. Al-Mohsen explained, the old authority is still floundering in dealing with the issue of the dollar exchange rate, as all the measures it has taken since it took over the management of the central bank hardly touch the real problem that led to these rises, which in one way or another led to a major impact on the economic situation of the Iraqi family. Noting that the Iraqi market depends entirely on securing its needs through imports, which eat up all the revenues obtained from Iraqi oil sales. In an interview with Al-Mada, Al-Mohsen indicated, there are many reasons for the fluctuation of exchange rates other than the above. Many dealers do not enter dollars for reasons related to the nature of the money they obtain, the national currency. There are those who obtain the Iraqi dinar through bribery, and others who obtain they are subjected to it through blackmail, some of whom trade in drugs and human organs, and many others who cannot disclose the sources of their money nor the ultimate beneficiary of the sending process abroad, which exposes them to many legal problems, and may expose them to penalties according to Iraqi law. Pointing out, these people are forced to go to the black market to request the dollar, and thus the exchange rate of the dollar against the Iraqi dinar rises to increase the demand for the dollar. We should also not forget that there are those who smuggle the dollar by tampering with documents for importing goods, and this manipulation occurs at the border crossings. And as a result, in the end, the country is the biggest loser, followed by the simple citizen. Quote, regarding the dominance of the dollar, the researcher in economic affairs continued, there does not seem to be a glimmer of hope on the horizon to get rid of the dominance of the US dollar as long as the bank's management insists on keeping the Iraqi economy revolving around the US dollar. If there was a real administration working for the benefit of the national economy, it would do everything in its power to do so. A way to diversify the sources of currencies you deal with, which is what the current administration does not want. Quote. He continued his speech, "I think that the government should seriously think about revitalizing the economic sectors, especially with the Central Bank of Iraq talking about reserves exceeding $115 billion. It is possible to simplify the procedures for granting loans to project owners who have feasibility studies on the projects that they want to implement and that are in the interest of the Iraqi economy, and grant them soft loans in exchange for the project's guarantee, to reduce the gap between market requirements and imports, and fill this gap by increasing local production to cover the need of the local market and by relying on modern technology with regard to industries, and by relying on modern agricultural techniques with regard to agriculture." Stressing, "Only here we will have put the Iraqi economy on the right path. And anything other than what we said will be nothing more than plowing into the sea." The exchange rate of the dollar in the parallel markets in Iraq has risen again, as the price of the dollar recorded an increase with the closure of the Al-Khifa and Al-Harithia stock exchanges, reaching 149,300 dinars against $100. While last Saturday it recorded a decrease with the closure of the Al-Khifa and Al-Harithia stock exchanges, reaching 149,550 Iraqi dinars against $100. Listen to the full version on the official dinarreport.com website and become our supporter on Patreon. Source: Dinar Recaps.